Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Power Trip Morning Show. Today is World Mental Health Day. 4 things we acknowledge on this day. 1, take care of yourself. 2, encourage others to be mental health aware. 3, continue to support anybody from your kids to your families to casual acquaintances. And 4, tell everyone you know that it is World Mental Health Day because you might talk to somebody on the day they needed the most help. Got to be there for each other, man. Take care of yourself, but you got to take care of yourself first. Power Trip Morning Show, here we are. Fargo Flash, Tommy Olson, and Ben Lever, all in the main studio. And we'll talk to .com Tom, thanks to our friends at Bell Bank, just a little bit as well. So lots going on. This is the band Ditto, and the song is Vertigo. A lot of great local music on the Power Trip Morning Show. Guys, back to you.
Going back to the Rose Bowl.
Here we go.
How great is that? Hey, did you storm, by the way?
I did.
Yeah, I was on there, too. I didn't see you.
Loved it.
God, it was great.
You guys didn't run into each other, Don.
I tell you what, I'm not kidding.
I wonder why.
Yeah,
Saturday? That's a great pick. Saturday might have been a top 5 day of my life.
Whoa.
Why?
Schmoll's birthday, number 1.
Oh, well,
Okay.
Perfect weather. We go to Manning's, my favorite bar, probably in Minnesota. They reserved every bar seat there for us. We had 60 people come.
Oh, my
wow.
God.
It was nasty. And then Eddie didn't know, walked in, sang happy birthday to him, celebrated. Then we had a party bus pick us up.
Naturally.
What a mess.
Correct. Looped around Minneapolis, gets hammered. Then we go to the game and watch the most fun game of all time, and then storm. Then go to Blarney's afterwards, and we're up all night. And then you wake up 8:30 and you watch the Vikings. Mm-hmm. I mean,
you were actually up by 8:30?
Yeah, I didn't really go to bed, you know.
Yeah, it was one of those things.
What a mess.
Right. But it was, you couldn't have scripted a more fun game to watch as a Gopher fan. It was so
Great game.
much fun.
Corey, how much would you have to be paid to live that day?
I'd say about 60% of it sounded fun.
Yeah.
But not consecutively.
Oh, man.
Would you have left at halftime?
You would have never been at the game.
No, the part that sounds the best is Manning's. Because
Yeah.
I lived not walking distance,
Como?
but close
Back in
when I
Como
was
in
at
those
the U.
houses.
Right. I was off of Como, so I guess I could have walked, but I was lazy. But we went to Manning's all the time.
Loved it,
And I don't
the
think
best.
I've been there since I was in college. So I haven't been
really?
there in 20 plus years. But I loved that place when I
New
was
ownership?
in college.
Same
New
menu,
ownership.
same
Huh? Same menu.
popcorn. Yeah.
Yeah, I should
So
get
good.
back.
It's so
Man,
good.
I should
You'd
go.
love it. God,
That sounds the best.
That's
out of that
good
whole
for you,
day.
Thomas. I'm glad you had a
Good for
great
you.
day.
But like in the beer garden now, you guys, they have like all mixed drinks now. So it's like really
So it's like
good.
full-on bar, basically.
Yeah, but they have
Good
to
for
be
you.
pre-made. So like
Okay,
pre-made
gotcha.
margs,
Oh, yeah.
pre-made Moscow mules,
That's cool.
all
you know?
that stuff.
Yeah. It's cool.
Pink lemonades, just pink lemonade vodka. They just pre-make them. Hell yeah! Hell yeah, that's right, brother. Hell yeah.
UCLA is not great record wise, right?
Well,
1-4.
Here's the deal, guys. Their run here. They open up. They go to Hawaii, which is always you should blow out Hawaii, and they didn't. They won 16-13, and then they come back and they didn't think it was the gauntlet, but it's a pretty tough schedule. Indiana, Hawk, as we've talked about, 6-0, bowl
Unreal.
eligible. So they get blown out by Indiana. Then they play LSU, again a current top 15 team. Mm-hmm. Then they play Oregon, top 3 team. Then they go to Happy Valley, top 15 team. So they're coming off of back-to-back weeks against really tough opponents. And it shows they're not very good against those opponents. If you look at them statistically, they're kind of ranked defensively, like 130 in the country. Their offense is kind of about the same. So they've struggled, but when I watch their body of work, they have improved. Now, again, Chip Kelly leaves, which we'll talk about here at the end. Chip Kelly leaves to go to Ohio State, so they have a new first-year head coach in Deshaun Foster, a former running back that played there. Not the talent that USC has, but there's some talent there. So this is the type of game where, you got to kind of, and I know PJ's tried to do it, you got to put behind you the USC excitement, and you got to get ready for your first long road trip in this expanded Big Ten. It's an 8 o'clock Central Time kick, so it's a late kick. And it's not, Ben, you probably know, this isn't your typical stadium. You're not going to Champaign, Illinois for the first time. You're going to the frickin' Rose Bowl.
Yeah,
right?
but I would say in this situation, it really loses its luster when it's a UCLA home game because it's
yonder.
Yeah, it's about 10% full. It's not like you're going there for the Rose Bowl or a some sort of bowl game or some celebratory kickoff classic game or something. So, yeah, there's a mystique when you pull up and you're like, man, this is so cool. We're at the Rose Bowl. Then you walk in for a regular season game with UCLA and you're like, their fans don't show up.
Yeah.
They don't have much of a student section.
You could argue it's almost even worse at night in LA too, because then there's so much other stuff to do.
I mean, it's like,
I don't know.
Like
That's gonna be
but
tough.
Hawk, it's like your stadium in London. It's in the middle of a residential area in Pasadena.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you pull up, there's a public golf course, and you are in a suburban type area. So you're not even close to anything
Downtown,
that's remote, thinks of LA.
Yeah, well, there's not even a college feel. It's not like you're pulling up to UCLA's campus, which is beautiful, by the way. And you like, oh my gosh, this feels like a college football
Not at
Saturday.
all.
Yeah, you are just driving into some neighborhood.
Like Eden Prairie.
Yes.
In Plop
Really?
Yeah, totally.
Weird.
And so so there's a lot of things playing against you. Now that being said, I like what Tommy said. Offensive line finally showed up, and again we're 6 games in. The season's halfway done.
Needed it.
So the offensive line has showed up. I think again I notice a very different Darius Taylor. I think that he looked different.
I think he's healthy.
I think he's really healthy. He's got some speed. Max Brosmer puts up another great game, 15 of 19.
3 tutties.
3 touchdowns rushing the ball.
Sick.
The defense, I think, has some injury issues, but big guys are standing out, like Coy Parrish, Cody Lindenberg, Ja Joyner. So I think it's one of those games where what is it, 5.5 meat sauce, the spread, I think, right now? So this 5. So 5 points in Minnesota's favor. I think it plays out exactly like that. I think this is a game that's really tight early on, kind of punch for punch. I think everyone thinks that this is a really poor UCLA team. They played some really tough opponents. But I think what happens in that second half is I think we start to wear them down with our ability to run the football. And I think this defense, again, is really starting to stand up. It's we are the number one pass defense, Ben.
In the country.
What?
We're 1.
Texas,
we're 1.
we give
Texas
up 111 yards of passing.
on.
No, number one.
And we played USC. It's not like we played bad teams.
We
It's
held
starting get
USC to
real.
200 yards passing, which was the lowest that Lincoln Riley's had in like a decade.
You played a Michigan team that doesn't throw the ball.
But they tried to,
Easy,
though.
Paulie. Easy,
But
buddy.
they tried to be fast. That's what I'd
Let
say.
them be happy. Let them
They
be
have
happy.
athletes too. So
Is that cool though?
Well,
So-
yeah.
so I
at this
think-
stage in the game, this stage in the season, number one in any one of those categories.
it's a big
is
deal.
big
It's impressive.
It's a big
Yeah.
deal. Yeah.
yeah. So I think this is one of those things that it's going to be a one possession game, and I think it's who has the ball last. But I like our defense to be able to slow down late in that game. UCLA, and I think Minnesota comes away kind of like a 21-14 game, 24-17, somewhere in there.
I like it. I think we pull away late and we beat them by 17 points.
That'd be nice.
I think they're gonna just stay high, keep rolling, feed the beast at Darius, and then we have a bye, and then we go on a run,
Yeah,
and then we're like, man, if we beat North Carolina, 1 kick away,
that's the first thing. That's the first thing I said after the last game.
and then Michigan, you could argue we should have beat them. All right, that's an argument.
Yeah.
We're at 5-1, and then we beat this. Then we'd be at 6-1, and then we go on our bye, and then we got homecoming versus Maryland, dub, and then we go on the road. Illinois, we finally go to Champaign and
Finally
beat
beat
them.
Brett Bielema.
Finally beat them. And then we come home. That's
all-
probably a real battle test against Penn State.
Yeah. Well, but as Ben says, Penn State always falls apart.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, Flash, if they
Could've made a run.
the table,
Yeah.
is the college football playoff statistically possible?
It still, I think, is possible because I watched
They have
last.
to win every game
But
the
I,
whole
but
rest
Run
I
the table
watched,
and win the Big Ten. Well, then you're automatically.
Good point.
right?
Yeah, good point. If
but
you
I
win
just-
the Big
but
Ten
even,
championship,
but even
for
one of
sure.
those 12 teams, I think it's possible. You look at last week. I mean, Nick Saban said in game day, there's not an easier place to play than Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Guys, Vanderbilt is the bottom of the SEC.
Yeah.
Alabama did not hold Vanderbilt to one single 3-and-out. Every single possession, Vanderbilt picked up a first down against Alabama's defense.
That was just
Fargo.
because Nate Bargatze was hosting Saturday Night Live.
No, I'm going to tell you what happened, and this is obvious, but if you wanted to look up the definition of looking past your opponent,
Totally.
they just beat Georgia in one of the greatest
Yeah.
college football games of all time, and now they're going to play Vandy, which people don't even want in that division anymore.
No, they don't. But
They look past them.
But that's my point. I think college football, is so interesting because
Yeah, I
you're
love
trying
it.
to figure out 18 to 22-year-old kids, And that's why PJ's job is so difficult. Like, you have to get kids to put away and stop thinking about USC and get ready to play a UCLA team that's pretty good. So I like a win this week. And then Ben and I have, there's a couple of good games, but we have Oregon hosting. Oregon, number 3 in the country. It's a blackout in Oregon.
Really?
Hosting number 2 Ohio State. And the point spread, I believe, is Ohio State minus 3.
3? Yeah.
So,
you're on the Ohio State minus 3 side.
Good luck.
I'm taking Oregon at home.
I like it.
I like it.
I think it's a really evenly matched game.
I think so, too.
It's the first really big, kind of expanded Big Ten game. You know, Ohio State going to the West Coast, night game. Chip Kelly going back to Oregon, right? It's a very different Oregon team than what Chip left.
Oh, yeah.
It's more of a pro style. They kind of run, they balance on offense.
Way more physical.
Split out wide.
Explosive plays on both
Explosive
sides.
plays
It's
still.
just going to be big plays. You know Ohio State.
Yeah.
Boring. 6.
Yeah, totally.
God.
But big time athletes on both sides.
This is the weekend we've circled for like months. It's like
is.
the best college football weekend ever.
I love it, man. That's awesome. It's good. It's the Vikings bye week. It couldn't be more perfect.
No, it's the best.
Let's do this.
Red River Shootout earlier in the day.
Is it really?
Yep.
Oh,
Oklahoma,
man.
Texas.
Let's go. Let's go. Fargo, you're the best. Thank you, brother.
Bye. See you guys.
Bye, Flash.
All right, Sauce will walk us through sports in a second. Tom Pelissero in about 20-ish minutes or so to talk about the Vikings 5-0 start in the NFL. Ben Lieber is here. Tommy Olson is here. Tommy, can you stick around for one more? Not one more. Power Trip Morning Show after this on the Fan.
Bullets and butterflies and 2 gray.
Just announced renowned stand-up comedian and podcaster Tom Segura is bringing his Come Together tour to the XL Energy Center. Don't miss out on this night of laughter on Friday, April 18th. Tickets go on sale this Friday, but caller number 13 right now will skip the line and win a pair of tickets. Call 800-320-5326.
It all begins tonight. Let's go, Lynx. Here's Fee on Coach Reeve.
I think she's one of, definitely, in my opinion, one of the greatest coaches in the W. So I feel really lucky to have been coached by her. I can't say enough about the preparation that she does and the way that she does X's and O's. She's just such a smart, incredibly smart coach.
It all starts tonight. The W, man. It all starts tonight.
Switch to that.
I think it's lately for me anyway. Yeah. Let's go.
It's like the British Open going to the Open.
Yeah, right.
Good for them.
Yeah, right. Agreed. Let's go. Let's go,
win?
Lynx.
That'd be cool.
They will, I think.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, I think
Are we the better squad?
Well, they beat them. I believe it's 3 out of 4. I think or 4 out of 5 this year, including the cup. The mid-season thing. So we can definitely beat them. But
cool.
It all comes down to this. Let's go, Lynx.
Yeah.
Let's go. Get your tickets. Let's go. Right, Cor?
Yeah. Ready, Sauce?
Yeah, man.
It's time for Fan 5 on the Power Trip, presented by All Around Property Preservation.
All right, let's go.
The Minnesota Wild open their season tonight at 7 against the Columbus Blue Jackets at the XL Energy Center. Bump and Guardsy will be there from 3 to 6:30 for the green carpet. What'd I do?
No, they're playing the Wolves of the.
Wrong sport, Hogs.
Sorry.
Wrong sport, Hog.
Here's the John Hines on the first game of the season.
We know that we're ready to go. We got to go play the game. It's just not about one game. We want to have a great season. So how do you do that, right? You want to get off to a good start, but you also want to have a good season. And I think we've put the work in for it, and now we got to go play. That's hockey, I think.
I just don't care.
Hey!
Wow. That'll be great.
Yeah, man. Here we go.
Yeah. Go Wild.
It's hockey season and football season and basketball season and baseball season for some people.
Yep. The Timberwolves play a preseason game tomorrow against the 76ers at home.
Actually, I think it's in Des Moines.
Oh, it is at Des Moines. Yeah. Wells Fargo Arena.
Is it really?
Yep.
The
6
Desi
p.m.
Menezes.
The Desi Menezes at 6 p.m.
Cool.
Which is cool because 6 a.m. would be tough.
Yeah, 6 a.m. Well, I mean, I preferred last week when the game started at 8:30 in the morning. I'm not going to lie.
The players would
It was
probably
great.
like it because then they'd be off for the rest of the day. They'd probably love it.
What time would you have to get up if it started at 6 a.m.?
6 a.m.? No,
Come
you'd
on
hate
now.
that.
Hey, you just stay up.
Well, this is preseason?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. 6 a.m. is fine.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's fine.
The Vikings are off this week, but they are 5-0. They battle the Lions a week from Sunday at noon. Pregame is at 10. The Lions battle the Cowboys this weekend.
Yeah. Let's go.
That'll be interesting.
So you got Cowboys and Lions. Then the Bears are technically hosting Jacksonville. That game's in London, 8:30 Sunday.
Yeah, can't wait.
The Packers host Arizona at noon, and Jordan Love, for the first time in over a month, is officially off the injury report, so back to 100%. Vikings are 5-0, Lions are 3-1, Packers and Bears both 3-2. Everybody over 500, Benjamin.
Woo! NFC North, man.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Which a lot of people predicted, except for the Vikings, right?
Correct.
Every other team was projected to be 500 or better. The Vikings were over under 6.5 wins for the whole year, and they already have 5.
Hell yeah,
Whoops.
man.
Whoops.
Yep.
Pretty sweet. That game next week is going to be massive.
Yeah, it's going to be
Next
sweet.
week?
Detroit.
Lions.
Detroit,
Here.
Here?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it
It's going to be gigantic.
Nooner.
Noon.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got to get some tickets. That'd
So
be fun.
people were throwing out the idea that it could get flexed. I'm like, they're not flexing games in week 7, are they?
You know,
I don't know.
I don't think they can yet.
Zach would
I don't
know,
think they can either.
I don't think they can. We talked about it yesterday. I don't think they can.
I think they can. I think it was after week 5. You could flex games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that.
It's just very rare because, again, everybody wants their games. So Fox, CBS, they have the same. In fact, they have more of a right to some of these games than the other networks do. So, but they can weeks 5 to 10. They can do up to like 2 times, I think, flex up to 2 at the NFL's discretion, and then after that, it opens up a little bit more weeks 11 to 15. But yeah, so
it's possible.
It's possible, but I think if it does, my guess it'll be a 325 game. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. I think this is what you just said. So forgive me if it is, but the league can move a game from a 1 p.m. Start, noon start for us, or a 4:25 start on Sunday into NBC's Sunday Night Football game, and vice versa between weeks 5 and 17. So it could happen.
So, but then they can't move it to 325. It's either you get moved to Sunday Night Football or nothing. Is that what you just said?
The league can move a game on Sunday into NBC's Sunday Night Football game and vice versa.
And
it doesn't say anything about that. Yeah,
the Sunday night football game next week is the Jets at the Steelers.
Sunday afternoon games may be moved between 1 o'clock, 4:05, or 4:25, and then they can also be moved up to twice between weeks 5 to 10. I think that the 1 to 4:05, 4:25, that can be done pretty much any week. It's the Sunday Night Football that comes into effect with 5 to 10 and 11 through 17.
So I doubt they'd move the Jets off of Sunday night.
I don't know.
So
man.
to add to you what you're talking about, Sauce. So yes, you're right. Jets at Steelers. Fox has the 3:25 game. That's the Chiefs at the Niners. They ain't touching that
Super
game.
Bowl.
Yeah, they're not doing that.
But the other one's Panthers at Commanders.
Oh, love that game. That'll be fun.
And then Raiders at the Rams. Those are the other two.
Those are CBS
3
games
o'clock.
too,
Yeah, 3 o'clock CBS games.
Yeah,
Niners,
it's better than
Chiefs.
both those games. The Rams and Raiders is a terrible game.
Oh, yeah.
Awful. That's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Panthers Commanders is only good because of the quarterback. The
Right.
Panthers are awful.
Yep, correct.
That should be a noon game.
I mean, obviously the Vikings Lions between those two games, the way better game between those two games. But
Right.
I can understand now Fox is like, we're not moving,
And-
we're not moving off this Chiefs Niners game.
And you have to announce it 12 days in advance.
So it's not happening.
No.
So what if we forget London for a second? What if we just have an 8:30 start time every Sunday, and the worst game of the week gets flexed to 8:30 in
That'd
the
be
morning?
brilliant.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
So we're
They should
still
do
going to
that.
wake up to football, have some cough, and maybe a bag, right?
Whoa.
Hey,
Bag of that ooh.
That's what I say. That's why I say
I
bagel.
like you.
The
Yeah.
cough in a bag.
Brilliant.
Yeah. No, and by the way,
How can you not follow that? That's what you. That's how you
pronunciation.
talk.
Jen. Absolutely, Jen.
Love it.
It's Jen.
Brill, man.
It's
Brill.
generational.
Wouldn't it be Gene?
Well, the
It should be Gene.
the
And it should
8:30
be big.
Whoa. The 8:30 game this week would be Titans and Colts.
100%. They shouldn't even play that on TV. They should play it on SoundCloud.
Do you remember they used to be blackout games? Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Vikings a lot before
Moss
Randy
showed
Moss.
up.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time in the mid 90s when football was on TNT.
Tough times, terrible.
Yeah.
That's horrendous.
Week 6 starts tonight with the Niners at the Seahawks. The Niners are a 3.5 point favorite.
I'd be all over the Seahawks.
I think I'd be over the
Someone
Seahawks
wants
too.
I would take the Seahawks as well. Core?
Anybody want the Niners?
Yeah.
Core
Yeah,
was.
I'll take the
Chris will.
Niners, yeah.
You bet all three of us? $50 a piece?
Sure, what the hell?
Yes.
Let's go.
What do we got?
We in.
We have Seahawks plus 3.5.
Oh, yeah. You can pay me now.
Wow. As Hogs Daddy said, the Lynx battle the New York Liberty tonight in the WNBA Finals. The Lynx, first time since 2017. The Lynx are 6.5-point underdogs.
Really?
Were they underdogs?
They're underdogs, yeah.
6.5? That seems big if we beat them so many
Yeah,
times.
they're underdogs.
Liberty's been the best team in the W.
playoffs?
What they say, though.
All year.
Liberty Bibberty.
Liberty. I read on Twitter just now the Lynx have played in 25% of all WNBA Finals games.
Wow.
How incredible is that?
Pretty cool, man. Wow.
The Gophers battle UCLA on Saturday at 8 p.m. Pregame at 6. The Gophers are 5-point favorites. The Gophers are 3-3. UCLA is 1-4. Thomas?
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. We just talked about it all. I just hope we come out firing. You know, it's going to be a lully, sleepy game. Just had a huge win. Yeah, if we control the running game, Darius goes for 200 yards, boom, done.
Hey, speaking of gambling, I don't think we've officially locked this in yet. The parish versus the field bet is on, right? The NHL season started 2 days ago. We haven't, I don't know if we've officially said we're doing this again.
Yeah.
500 again, or you want to increase it this year?
Let's do 500. It's a good bet.
You don't want to do more?
No.
It's a season-long bet.
No, I'll do
It'll
500.
get done in June.
How about
How weird is that?
700?
700?
Sure.
Hold on.
What are you possibly Googling?
Yeah, what could you possibly be Googling?
700. That's a big one.
What do you answer the question?
I'm Googling Stanley Cup odds. See my squad. Oh, yeah, sure.
You
yeah,
got Dallas, don't you?
And I got, the Panthers. And
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Avalanche.
fine. Who won last year? You won, right?
I won.
Yeah.
I won 3 out of 4 of them.
It's a no-brainer. Keep
Yeah,
going.
I'm in.
Yeah, 700?
Sure. Yeah.
You're
All right, let's
playing
make it
with the bankroll.
700.
Why did the Panthers and the Stars quit? Are they
Yeah.
not? Oh, okay.
Oh, they quit.
700. That's big.
That should-
It's a
that
season-long
should have
bet.
been like
Let's
the
go.
top story in sports. I mean,
Well, I mean, Hawk tried to bet bonus 500 on the Wild making the playoffs,
Well,
and
I know.
bonus was like, no. But that's
It's
the
a
right
season-long bet,
It
man.
doesn't end
Right.
You want to
until
do more than 7?
No, 7's fine. No,
725.
no, 700. You weirdo. The Mets beat the
Don't be a
Phillies
weirdo.
4-1 to advance to the NLCS. They await the winners of the Dodgers or Padres series. The Dodgers forced a Game 5 by smoking the Padres 8-0. Game 5 is tomorrow in LA at 7:08.
Read the paper, Rose.
Pay attention, Rose.
he's in England town.
Maybe a stupid question there, Sauce.
Yeah.
From a I don't know.
Yes. He's not coming.
From a national interest perspective,
Yeah.
who do you think is going to be more interested? Like, which team do you think is going to draw the most interest?
The Dodgers.
The Dodgers or the Mets? Two big markets.
The Dodgers because of Otani. I can't
Oh, yeah,
name
good point.
I can't name a guy on the Mets.
Name
but it's
one,
New
Randy?
York.
The Mets
Yeah,
have
I
been a
can't-
lot of fun.
I can't name one. I will Francisco Lindor.
You just named one.
That's
Yeah,
the
there
only one
you
I
go.
can think of though.
Hit a
Yeah,
grand slam
I bet you
yesterday.
$1,000 you can name another one.
Say my name.
I can't. You owe me $1,000.
Sure you can. Go. 100% you can name another one if you're actually trying.
What? What are you guys playing? Another Matt. Guaranteed you can.
You've gone on so many rants about this player specifically. You said the Twins should have signed him.
Shooter McGavin? Randy Rude?
Yeah, Randy Rude. Ravishing Randy.
What position?
I don't know what position he plays. It's baseball. I have no idea.
Doggy.
Oh yeah, Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso.
Yeah, Pete Alonso.
Yes!
Now you owe me $1,000. See?
Detroit beat the Guardians 3-0 to take a 2-1 series lead. Game 4 is today at 5:08, and the Yankees beat the Royals 3-2 to take a 2-1 lead. Game 4 is today at 7:08. Wow,
What was that?
That dude's high. Big Tigers fan.
yeah, that guy loves it.
You don't know who that is?
Is that
Kid
yeah,
Rock?
no. Play it again. It's the guy from Rage.
There
That's
you
right.
go.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, it's not Kid Rock?
Zach De La Roca.
No, Zach De La Roca. That's that guy. Go Wild.
Yeah, go wild.
And more
everybody.
Yeah, go wild.
Go out.
Go Tommy. Are you leaving?
Yeah.
Big boy job.
I got to go.
All right, dude.
Love you guys.
Love you,
Thanks for
Thomas.
today.
Thomas.
Peace out, T-boy.
I'll see you next week. And then we got the Ghosts bye. So, yeah.
Did you tell Ben your internet
No,
idea?
I don't. No, I have to hear this.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's
Ben
go.
could be a part of it.
Yeah, Benny. You could.
That'd be
He's
the
not
dream.
going to. Vikings news is next. Tom Pelissero as well to break down all things NFL and Vikings after this on The Fan.
Sauce is there to get it all wrong together. They're a force screaming out this song. Power trip on and show it's fun. We always
The Power Hour is live. KFAN.com/watch is where you can find it and watch Tom Pelissero and more. It's all thanks to Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed.
About to get a hold of. Wait. Hey, what's your name? Zacho?
Yes, sir.
Are we doing .com Tom on the
Yeah,
stream there?
he is all set
he's
to
already
go.
there? Oh, Tom Pelissero, everybody. Hi, Tom.
What you doing, Hawk? I've been sitting there a while. You had me worried for a
Hey,
second.
nice
I'm so
suit.
sorry.
I like your suit.
Yeah, I like how we went from me, basically unshowered in a hotel room in LA last week to like the fully, suited up version of me. We're back, baby. We're back on the normal schedule there.
Is this the new house? Is this the new fake wall or whatever behind you now too?
It's the same fake wall, but it fits better in the new house, if you'll believe that. So yes, we have moved in. As a matter of fact, I was just going through my closing disclosures on my Bell Bank mortgage. So it's great timing
There you go.
for me to be right here on this show, brought to you by Bell Bank.
Boy, that's always a fun process, huh?
Yeah,
They make it
underwriting.
so much
Always
easier,
cool.
but boy, yeah,
They do make it
that's-
easy.
What the hell's a mortgage?
Well, speaking of money, let's do a callback from over an hour ago. We were talking about Shams because we saw Shams on the old Sports Center this morning, and they flashed up a stat about Shams and something like 500 texts and emails a day, and then it was 18 hours of screen time he averages a day, and we're like, is that even humanly possible? And then we were debating how much Shams gets paid because is 18 hours of screen time worth any amount of money, let alone hundreds of thousands or multi-millions? Do you have any guess what you think Shams makes a year? What would you guess?
You're asking me to guess
Yes.
how much he makes
Yes.
this year. Those records are going to remain permanently sealed. I'm sure he does very well.
Very well?
He had like 3 jobs before. He was at Stadium and the Athletic. I think he's still at the Athletic. He's always got a million things going on. So maybe many millions of things going on.
Maybe
I mean,
millions of things?
He is the best. Him and Woj were there. So, when your top competitor / mentor walks away, that puts you in a pretty good leverage position.
All right, so you're not going to answer what you think that he's going to make, but could you answer this? Though?
Media salary guessing is not really in my.
I know. I don't think anybody really expected you to have to answer that.
Had to try.
What about your screen time? Like, is that something that you could share with us?
So I don't get the Sunday alerts anymore. I may or may not have gotten mad enough to Google at some point and figure out how to turn off that alert because it does get depressing.
Yep.
I mean, certainly in, free agency time and stuff like that. Yeah, you're in the 18, 20 hours a day just because it's nonstop, but it's like the rest, you don't do that all the time. You are going to, in fact, drive yourself nuts or go blind. So try to have some level of reason with it here. Staring into these lights for hours and hours a day, maybe also not necessarily great for me. But, yeah, I mean, it depends on the time of year. Free agency, the big one. We're coming up on the trade deadline right at the end of the season with coaching changes. That's another huge one. It fluctuates a lot higher at those times of year.
Speaking of coaching changes, where do you stand on the Robert Saleh, Aaron Rodgers saga of him getting fired and if Rodgers had anything to do with it?
Well, first of all, I've known Robert Saleh a long time. He's as Rodgers himself said yesterday on McAfee, he's a good man and he's a good football coach. So, for him to be, quite blindsided by this on a human level just sucks. I mean, I remember going out to dinner with him that first summer after he took the job and, he brought the family out. He's got a bunch of kids, they were building you just think about that. It's like it's what you've worked for your entire career. And listen, some other guys we've seen in recent years, including his offensive coordinator right now, it's less than a year and the whole thing's over. With Saleh, you never felt like, up until this year anyway, he really had the best shot, because the first thing that they did was trade away Sam Darnold and then draft Zach Wilson, and it never was the right fit in that New York market. Then you get Rodgers, it lasts 4 snaps. Now he's back this year. And listen, they weren't awful. They're not 0-5. They're 2-3. If Greg Zuerlein makes a field goal in the rain, they're 3-2. But, the dynamics of the situation are you're still in year 4. The record, 20-36, is what it is. Woody Johnson is the former ambassador to the UK. And so you can imagine when he's reuniting with all of his old cronies over there and having events and seeing people, is proud of this team. And they come out and they don't look very good in a national TV game on the international stage. You can imagine from an emotional standpoint why you'd feel like, this just isn't good enough. I watched that game out in LA, last week. And, in hindsight, it probably stood out more. But I noticed at the time, too, just when they cut away to Robert on the sideline, he just looked tired. He wasn't talking on the headset. He wasn't, showing that emotion. Like our, in our mind's eye, we all think of Robert Saleh as the guy, pumped up, the 49ers defense getting jacked up. And it just looked like, it had taken a toll on him. But also, when that you've got more talent than you've had and you've got the quarterback that doesn't look good, I wouldn't expect him to feel really great about it on the sideline. So he was going to potentially make some changes in terms of, who was calling the plays on offense, in terms of how that entire protocol went. Woody Johnson says that when he talked to Aaron Rodgers on Monday night, they didn't talk about Saleh. Rodgers says the same thing. I have no reason to believe that Aaron Rodgers made a demand to Woody Johnson that you got to make a move. I do know that Aaron, and this goes back to, his times in Green Bay too, he's got a way of making sure that everybody knows how he feels about everything all the time. And if, Woody Johnson in that phone call just sensed that there was a level of frustration, that would be one more reason that he would, decide something big's got to change. The biggest thing you can do for any team to create a sea change is bench the quarterback. Well, you're not benching Aaron Rodgers. That's not even an option. So the second thing that you can do is make a change with your head coach. That's what Woody Johnson decided to do. I also know Jeff Ulbrich. He's a former player. He is a high energy, intense, but positive type of guy. I know that anybody who watched the Hard Knocks back in 2023, they remember seeing a lot of him there. It'll be a different type of energy. And we see it all the time where you get a new coach in and you get a little bit of juice. I always say it's the placebo effect. We saw it last year. Antonio Pierce takes over. Just a different energy from Josh McDaniels. Hey, Josh had a lot of rules for the players. Now there's no rules. Yeah, we're all on board. And they went and they won a bunch of games. Now, this year we're seeing Antonio Pierce. Now he's the permanent head coach. And you kind of lose a little bit of that bump. I mean, Jeff Saturday went and won his first game against the Raiders when he got the job. Why? Because you feel like, all right, we're doing things differently here. We're just going to go out and we're going to figure some things out. It's, I think that they'll come out and they'll play well on Monday night. If they don't against the Bills, then it's going to be like, what now? You push the biggest button that you've got to push. But if they win that game for everything that's gone wrong and for having just fired the head coach, they would have a share of first place in the AFC East, which is one more reason the timing of this was a surprise to a lot of people. I can freely admit I generally have a pretty good pulse on these things. I was surprised that the move was made at that level right now, but it's a bet by Woody Johnson. He says it's the most talented team he's had in 25 years. Well, basically you're pointing the entire finger at Robert Saleh right now. Let's see if it changes.
BellBankBringsYou.com, Tom Pelissero. I'll tell you the whole information about how you can nominate somebody to pay it forward, a charity to pay it forward at the end of the interview here. My question's real quick. Is Bill Belichick truly a candidate for this job, or is that a bit?
I don't know that Bill is going to find that cocktail napkin and, cross out what he wrote back 25 years ago and say, Bill Belichick, I am now HC of NYJ. That would be quite the full circle moment. Yeah. I think that anything's possible when it comes to Bill. I think that also, though, he's going to be looking for franchises that have organizational/ownership stability, that have a quarterback, and then have resources to be able to win and win quickly. Culturally, Bill is always going to want to do things a certain way. But he's 70 something years old. He's not in for like a full on, let's tear it down 5-year rebuild project. He's going to want to come into some place and hit the ground running. And with the Jets, depending on what's going on with Aaron Rodgers, because he's got no guarantees beyond the end of this season. If this entire thing goes sideways, they go 8-9 or whatever it is. Maybe this is like the 2010 Vikings where it's, okay, we know this thing is done. Now we got to turn the page, which in 11 they've signed Donovan McNabb, but that's an entirely different story. If things go well, then, it's possible Jeff Ulbrich keeps the job. But with Belichick, I think that the main issue is going to be, for 25 years with Woody Johnson as the owner, they haven't found a way to win. And, I'm not saying that's entirely Woody. He's hired the right coaches. Robert Saleh was a hot candidate. Adam Gase, as much as he became a punchline, was a popular candidate who had won a bunch of games in Miami. They went to a couple AFC Championship games with Rex Ryan as the head coach, but they haven't been able to find that consistency. I think that there would be, some challenges for Bill in that spot. I think there's some other places that probably make more sense for him. But I do know this, Bill Belichick, on top of his 15 different media gigs, is preparing every day to come back and be a head coach in 2025. Until we know what job, if any job, Bill takes, I would not 100% rule out any scenarios.
So, Tom, I want to ask you about there's another big time story going on in the NFL, and that's Deshaun Watson, and that's on the team that we all love, I think, by proxy here in Minnesota, with Kevin Stefanski being the head coach, 2-time coach of the year. We love him. We love what he's doing. We're all cheering for him, but it seems like Deshaun, who's going to lead that team, is leading that team right now, is done. Like mentally, emotionally, physically, just doesn't have it, but they're stuck, it seems like, with this contract. What's the situation there with Deshaun? Can they move him? Can they not move him? Are the Browns really just stuck with him for the next couple of years?
It'd be a hard one, Ben, to move Deshaun Watson with that contract, because he's fully guaranteed another $46 million in 2025 and $46 million in 2026, which if he were playing at a high level, let's even say a top 10 level, based on where the quarterback market is, that's a relative bargain. But first of all, think about who you're talking about here. The number of teams that would just instantaneously, whether at an ownership level, coaching, whatever, just go, we're not bringing in all the stuff that comes with Deshaun Watson. Secondly, you're right. I mean, he's not playing well enough. I don't think he's playing awful. I don't think he's the worst quarterback in the league right now, and I don't think that this is all on him. But the whole thing, man, is not adding up. And you can see it. You can see the frustration on everybody. They've had a really beat-up offensive line. They lost Bill Callahan, who's maybe the best offensive line coach in the league last offseason. And so Deshaun is getting absolutely pummeled back there in the pocket. When he is delivering the ball on time, Jerry Jeudy's getting hit in the end zone and not being able to bring it in. You got another receiver in Amari Cooper, who found out that he was in trade talks with the 49ers, and Cooper in a contract year has just not looked like the same guy. They don't have Nick Chubb, so now your running game is different than it's been in the past. And then things like happened like last week, where they're going to go for it on fourth down. There's a lot made of that clip, and somebody put the caption on it: Deshaun Watson quits on his team. That wasn't it. Deshaun Watson looks around and goes, well, there's 12 of us in this huddle, so we either got to burn a second time out on this drive or take the delay of game penalty and kick the field goal. And that's the option that they chose. That's why he's walking off the field. But, just think about that. When your whole season's on the line and you're just scraping, you're trying to get anything. You're just trying to get a touchdown here. That was 2 plays after, by the way, Jerry Jeudy dropped that ball in the end zone. And somehow 12 men end up on the field, which is something that would never have happened, when Stefanski was in Minnesota, ever, especially not in the 09 championship game. But, that's not all on Kevin. That's not all on Deshaun. It's just the whole thing doesn't quite fit together right now. And on top of that, they are one of the most talented defenses in the league. And while the defense isn't bad, they're not dominating the way that you're accustomed to the Browns playing defense there. So they're 1-4. Going into this week, they certainly are in that position where it's like, Kevin's won 2 NFL Coach of the Year awards, and they did it last year by, rallying behind a 4-string quarterback. They got to find a way to win a game, because you go to 1-5, and all of a sudden, there's other things looming that you don't want, particularly with Cleveland Browns organization that Stefanski and Andrew Berry have brought a lot of stability to, but historically have not been a place where you have a real even-keeled approach to adversity.
Where does Devontae Adams end up?
It's a great question, Sauce, because
well done, Paul.
Thank you.
Right now, he's still a Raider. All right, it's been 10 days since he told the team that he prefers to be traded. The Jets, even after firing Robert Saleh, my understanding is they are still interested in a Davante Adams trade. The Saints have also been interested. That situation has changed because now the main reason he would go there, his buddy Derek Carr, is out at least 2 games because of an oblique injury, and they're going to roll out a rookie 5th-round pick, Spencer Rattler, this week. And, and in his first NFL start. So is that really even a viable option? If they lose these next 2 with a rookie starter, they're 2-5. And then you're going to a place that really doesn't have, a whole lot of chance. The Steelers are still hovering out there. The Bills, there could be potential other options as well. So all of which is to say the Jets are still the logical spot. I still believe when this is all done, if I had to guess, I would say Davante Adams ends up a Jet. But I also right now, based on where things are and the fact the Raiders just benched Gardner Minshew for the quarterback that Davante Adams wanted last year, Aiden O'Connell, I wouldn't 100% rule out the possibility that even if it's for a game or 2 before the trade deadline, that we Raiders uniform again.
Speaking of guessing, if you had to guess, over under 7 figures for Shams per year.
Man, I hope, like everybody else, I would say, I really hope it's over.
I hope for your sake it's over, right? The more Shams is making, the more money down the road for Tom Pelissero. Let's go.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's get Tommy paid.
Drive that market, baby. Hope all those other agents, all the other media agents are leaking that the guys are making even more than they are. That's what we need. Just keep driving it up here.
Before we let you go, real quick, and again, I'm going to give the Bell Bank information because we love him so much, but we were talking about the coach for the Jets. Should we be worried about our guy Flores being the guy that takes that job?
Should we be saying it again? I lost you.
And that's okay. Brian Flores, is he a candidate for the Jets job, you think?
I think that Flores should be a candidate for any job that's available out there. He knows that division obviously really well. I've been in New England and Miami. He'd be taking over a really talented type of defense. It's just going to depend on what's the vibe, the energy that you want with your head coach in the building. Because with Flo, there's going to be a level of a negative reinforcement culture that's a part of the bit. It wore some people out in Miami. It's working right now at a really high level in Minnesota. People are just going to have a lot of questions, but I would fully anticipate, Hawk, that Flo's getting a bunch of interviews if the Vikings continue on this trajectory.
Go do TV. Thank you, brother. We appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Tom.
Guys. That's Tom Pelissero. I saw him put his earpiece on. I realized I asked one too many questions. Hey, listen, Bell Bank is giving one KFAN listener each week $1,000 to pay it forward to a charity of their choice. Nominate a charity of your choice right on KFAN.com. Just put in the keyword Bell to be selected each week. Tune into the Power Trip Morning Show Thursday mornings when Tom is on. You'll find out which charity got chosen. And this week, our charity is the good people at Can Do Canines. Britta Maddox is the one who nominated them. Can Do Canines is dedicated to enhancing the quality of life for people with disabilities by creating mutually beneficial partnerships with specially trained dogs. Since 1989, Can Do Canines has provided assistance dogs to people with disabilities free of charge. Our fully trained dogs, sometimes adopted from local animal shelters, are provided to clients with mobility challenges, hearing loss or deafness, seizure disorders, diabetes complicated by hypoglycemia unawareness, or child with autism. CanDoCanines.org for more information. Well done, Britta, and thank you, Can Do Canines and Bell Bank.
I will not be participating as there is no evidence that charity works.
I disagree. Once in a while it works.
It does.
Oh, yeah.
Ben, the 8 o'clock hour is right after this. Would you like to participate?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Cool.
Good. Okay, good.
Perhaps.
Good.
I like it. It seems like a verbal commitment. More of the Power Trip with Ben Lieber after this on the Fan.